guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to another Championship predictions video. The games are coming thick and fast again, and we are back with the midweek fixtures. Sophie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's good to be back.
Good stuff. Now, Sophie, I've gone up against her twice already this season. They've both been draws, and I was losing to the guests last week, but going into this, I'm actually ahead. I beat Michael 5-0 with predictions over the weekend. I got 5 predictions out of 12, spot on. How mad is that? Oh man, that's really good. 5 out of 12 is pretty good. Michael didn't get any, so that means I am beating the guests now, 20-18. So Sophie's going to have to try and claw it back for the guests. But let's get into Tuesday and Wednesday's fixtures, starting with Luton Town versus Birmingham. Now we've just played Birmingham. Seemed okay. There wasn't a lot in that game. It was we cancelled each other out. As for Luton Town, they're doing very well. We've spoken about this before. They've had a really good start to the season, and I do tip them here. I'm going to back Luton Town to win this one, 2-1. Yeah,
I'm going to go 1-0 for this one to Luton Town. Both teams don't really concede masses of goals. When we played Birmingham, I wasn't that impressed by either team, to be honest, but I think Luton, being at home, they've had a good start, so I'm going to tip them to win 1-0.
Okay, moving on to the next fixture then at Loftus Road, we've got QPR versus Rotherham United. Rotherham United, they've been okay so far this season. They've picked up a few results here and there, and I think they'll make this one difficult for a QPR team that haven't really got into second gear yet this season. I think they've started quite slowly. Both teams are languishing in the bottom half of the table, so I do expect a tight game. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I was tempted to agree with you there with the 1-1, but I do think that QPR are going to bag another goal. I think it's going to be 2-1 to QPR. I think they are going to be pretty evenly matched. Rotherham have had the best start out of all us promoted teams, but I do think QPR might win this one, so I've gone for 2-1.
2-1. Okay, moving on to the next game, which is Stoke City versus Norwich City. Two teams that have had a very decent start, especially Norwich, obviously up near the top of the league now. And as for Stoke City, they've been quite good so far this season. So I think this is going to be a really good game between two pretty informed teams. And I think they're going to cancel each other out. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw here. Either team could win it.
Yeah, I think Stoke are actually going to win this one. I know Norwich are sitting top. I don't know where Stoke are, but I did see a stat that they're the most informed Championship team at the moment, from recent games. So I'm actually going to tip them to win. Probably going to go with a 2-1 again. I think it's going to be a tough game. They're going to be pretty evenly matched, but I do think Stoke are going to nick it. Okay, the next game then is Wycombe Wanderers versus Huddersfield Town. And looking at the fixtures, I don't know why, but I just found this the hardest one to predict. I think Wycombe, they're doing okay, but they're really hard to predict. I mean, 0-0 against Brentford, I didn't really see that one come in. And then Huddersfield Town, they've been very inconsistent, so it's a really hard game to predict. I'm just going to go with a Huddersfield away win here. I'm going to back them 1-0. Yeah, I might agree with you there, actually. I might say 1-0 as well. That is so hard to predict. It could either be another 0-0 boring game again. Because Wycombe aren't playing bad. They're not being a pushover in pretty much any game, to be honest. But I do think Huddersfield have better quality of players, so they should win that game. But I don't think they're going to win by much. So I think 1-0 sounds about right. Yeah, so you agree with that one. Yeah. The next game then is Barnsley Football Club against Brentford Football Club. Barnsley have had a very decent start so far. They've been pretty good. And Brentford, they've been okay, but a bit below where everyone probably would have expected them to be. But they are only a win or two away from breaking into that top 6. I'm going to back Barnsley. I think Brentford would be the favourites, but Barnsley at home, they're quite a decent and useful team. I'm going to back them to win this 1-0. Yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. I think that Barnsley are going to show signs in the game that they could win this, because they've started quite well, to be honest. They've definitely surprised me anyway. But I think Brentford, they've got some class players, so it's going to be very even, so I'm going to go 1-1 draw. The next game then is Preston North End going up against Blackburn Rovers at Deepdale, and it's a tricky one to predict. Blackburn obviously drew 1-1 with Luton at the weekend, and Preston beat 10-man Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend 1-0. I'm going to go for both teams to cancel each other out. How about a 0-0? Yeah, I think I can actually see that happening. However, Blackburn aren't in the best form at the moment, so I think it could be another 1-0 to Preston. Wow, 1-0 to Preston. Okay, that's an interesting one. The next game then is Bournemouth Football Club, who beat Reading at the weekend 4-2. What a game that was, against Nottingham Forest, who lost at the weekend against Barnsley. I'm going to back Bournemouth here, 2-0. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth should win that game, and they're going to go into it thinking they're going to win that. So hopefully that doesn't backfire on their end. I think all the fans as well will back them to win. And I think it's going to be a pretty convincing win, so 3-1 to Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth have looked very good. The next game then is Middlesbrough Football Club against bottom of the table Derby County. And Middlesbrough, despite losing to Norwich at the weekend, still have the best defensive record in the league. Only conceded the 6 goals in 12 games now. And Derby County, you've just got to worry for them because things aren't looking very good. Hopefully for them, you know, things will turn around. But at the moment, I'm going to back Middlesbrough here, 2-0.
Yeah, see, I don't want to say 2-0 and copy you here, but I can see a 2-0 playing out. So, yeah, I am going to copy you. But it is looking so worrying for Derby, and I hope their form doesn't improve because it's definitely benefiting us at the moment. So it'd be good if they got panned and really damages their goal difference. But yeah, I'm only predicting a 2-0 in that match to Middlesbrough.
Okay, the next game then is at the Den. It's Millwall versus Reading, who are starting to fall away quite rapidly now. I think that's 4 defeats in a row for Reading after losing to Bournemouth. And Millwall, they've been okay. They drew 1-1 with Cardiff at the weekend, but I just think they're going to be too solid for this Reading team, which is in free fall. 1-0 to Millwall.
I'm going to go 1-1. I think Reading now, they need to just start getting points again because, as you said, it's back-to-back defeats for them. So they need to just get the draw and then build from there. And I think this is going to be the match to do it. So I'm going to go 1-1.
The next game then is possibly the best looking of the midweek fixtures. Bristol City against Watford Football Club. A clash of 2 teams in the top 6. I think this is a really exciting game. We've played both of them and they both beat us by 1 goal. But we saw that they could both concede goals when we played against them. And I think these two might be evenly matched. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very entertaining game to watch. 2 good teams. I mean, obviously we've played them both and I think they've both been pretty good. We should have beat Bristol, to be honest, but again, they showed their class and they got the win there. So I'm actually going to back Watford. I'm going to say 2-1 to Watford in that game.
Okay, the next game then is Coventry City going up against Cardiff City. Now, Coventry City obviously changed the formation for that Birmingham game. It was a stalemate, it was a 0-0. That might be Mark Robinson's new philosophy going forwards. He might try and be... I think he's trying to improve defensively because we've shown we can score goals. I think he just wants to try and get more clean sheets. And against this Cardiff team that, despite finishing in the playoffs last year, they've had a really poor start this year. And I do think we can get at this Cardiff team. I think if we play like we did against Birmingham and just create 1 or 2 more chances, I think we're going to beat them 1-0.
Okay, I think it could be a 1-1. I think we should be looking to get a win here. I mean, especially being at home, we've just had that 0-0, so we've had a clean sheet, we've got a point. We need to now push on from that and start picking up 3 points, especially when we're at home. But I think this game is going to be a bit of a stalemate, so I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. Okay,
and the final game then is at the Liberty Stadium. It's Swansea City versus Sheffield Wednesday, and it's an interesting one. I mean, Tony Pulis' first game didn't go too well because they lost to Preston, but to be fair to them, they had to play 75 minutes with 10 men because they had an early red card. And Swansea City, they've been okay, they've been fairly decent so far this season. They beat Rotherham 1-0 at the weekend. That was one of the predictions I got right. But I don't know, I just think Tony Pulis is going to do a job here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, I think it could be 1-0. It was a toss-up between 1-0 or 2-0 to Swansea, but I think that it's just going to be 1-0. I think they're both going to try and get at each other because Sheffield Wednesday really need the points, and I think that's going to leave them exposed, and I think they're going to lose that one. So I'm just going to go 1-0 to Swansea. Okay, and that's it. That wraps up all of the predictions for the midweek fixtures, guys. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree, and we'll see at the end of the week who got more predictions right. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace out.